Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Chuck Marting. This week, I'm really excited to be able to bring the topic to you for your consideration and to hopefully have something that you have thought about too, and something that you may have experienced as well in your leadership journey. We have hired some new team members, and I can honestly say this is the first time that we thoroughly went through what we had and we were able to select the best of the best. I've got some people that we've hired for this time going around that I can tell you are phenomenal. And this was something that was very important to us. We already have a really good team. We have some people that are very talented and very capable of doing the things that we call on them to do on a daily basis. And so, in order for us to be able to have new team members come in, there's a lot of things that go into it. And I can tell you that what the topic of this conversation this week is going to be slowing down. I think a lot of times we're so busy and we have so many things going on with our business that we know that we have to get somebody in these positions. We have to have people that are going to be able to make it happen on our team. And then we have to hope that those individuals that we're bringing in to be part of our team, they're going to mix well with what we have already, that their personalities, that the way that they conduct themselves is going to be cohesive with the group of individuals that we've already got in there. That's the first thing, because I can tell you, and I've experienced this before, that if you don't have that cohesiveness, you're not going to get a lot of things done, because there's always going to be that internal battle between the people that are there. There's a pecking order at that point, and it becomes very apparent when you're a supervisor as to what that pecking order is. And then you have to end up dealing with individuals that have been there, they have a proven track record, they're really good employees. And then you have the new people. And now it seems to the new person, if you don't address it correctly or in an appropriate way, that you're dismissing them as being vital or important, that what they bring to the team isn't valued. And that isn't the case. And they feel that way because they feel like you're protecting the person who's already there. You're going to go on their side. You're going to be on their side because they've been there for so long. So there's all kinds of different things that come up because of that. So you really got to keep that in mind when you're looking at bringing on additional team members. But you're also having to look at the talents and the things that those people that you're bringing in are going to bring into the table too as well. You want what they do to strengthen the team and strengthen the things that you're already doing and accomplishing. So with us, we just ended up having 80 applications for 2 positions that we had, which is incredible. The last time that we were looking for team members, we were hiring the same amount of people, and we only had about 15 applications that were put in that time. And it was a little disconcerting because it was hard, because you really had to look. And I guess I shouldn't say disconcerting. It was just disappointing. You thought you would have more to choose from than just a few. But we were still able to get a phenomenal team member. And we only ended up hiring one person instead of 2 because of what we were doing at that point with the people that had applied. And so we only felt that there was one person that, with everything that we were wanting done, that fit that bill. And we were right. And that person is exceeding beyond anything that we thought they would be at this point in time. And they're phenomenal. And they have really been adopted by our team. They've taken on that role. They have things that they have specifically been assigned this individual, and this individual is excelling, doing very well. And so we're pretty pleased. And so going into this with needing two more team members because of growth and the things that we're experiencing right now, we knew that we had to keep that cohesiveness. So with the 80 people, we had to narrow it down. And we did that first by looking through the resumes they came with. And so we were able to narrow it down. We interviewed about 15 people out of that, which was my wife is very good at discerning and looking through those applications and resumes and looking for what we know is our most important traits that we're looking for with individuals for what we do. So she was able to narrow it down. And out of those 15 people, we had four that confirmed that they would be there for an interview and never showed up, which is incredible to me. They don't owe me anything or owe my business or my team anything. They applied. And then when you acknowledge them and you're saying, wow, this person really does have, I've got some interest in talking to this person. And you reach out to them, they say, yeah, I'll be there. And then they don't show up. So then you call and all of a sudden they don't answer their phone now, or you text them, or they just go radio silent. So that kind of tells me straight out that I have no interest at this point to continue to pursue that individual. Okay. So after we narrowed it down, we interviewed these other people, and all the people that we interviewed were really good. And I can tell you that you have to go through those resumes. You have to go through what they're applying. Have your own personal application that you give them as well, because you're gonna see a lot on there that's going to help you in making those decisions and those choices that you know you're going to have to make. So we ended up getting these individuals, and we were able to narrow it down to the top four, and then really diving in. So at that point, what becomes crucial is doing your background screening on these individuals. This part of it is so very crucial. And I feel from talking to other leaders that the theme of this week's lesson, or what I wanted to bring to you, is on slowing down. And I think sometimes we don't do that. We feel that we're under the gun, we're undermanned, we need to get this position filled, or we need to hire this person before somebody else does. Okay? Listen, if that is what happens, it is what it is. It was never meant to be, and you're probably better off without that person there. You're going to find somebody else. You have to be patient. You have to slow down, and you have to find the individual that's going to fill the space that you have and meets everything that you need so that they can come in and it's going to be a smooth transition. So we were able to do that. We got these four people left, and we took our time and did our background screening this time. And two of the people we that end up being the two that we ended up hiring in the long run, when you talk to their previous employers, had nothing but phenomenal things to say about them. Said that they would hire them back in a New York minute, that they were very good, they excelled at what they did, that they hated to lose them, but these individuals had to move on to other things, which was understandable. So when you have employers that go out of their way to tell you how well they liked that individual and didn't want to see him go, that really makes you feel that you've done your homework and that you've narrowed it down to some really good and talented people. So we extended the offers to two new team members, and uh, we have conducted probably about, at this point right now, about 85 to 90% of their training that they needed done has been completed. We needed to do certifications, which takes some time in and of itself for these certifications with what we do. And it's not just one or two, it's several that need to be done with these individuals. So it typically takes a week to 2 weeks to be able to get all of the training and everything that they need prior to them actually doing the job that you've hired them for. So during this time with training, you start seeing a lot of different things. For me, it's eye opening, and it helps me as a leader as I'm doing this training with them, because what I'm able to do is I'm able to analyze. I'm able to see, how do they best learn? You know, is it visual? Is it visual and audio? Is it hands-on, having to do it? It's a combination of all three of those. So I have one of the new people that we've hired for our team. I had to learn his learning style and to be able to accommodate for that. And then that comes into us being leaders and showing that we're a leader by being patient, understanding, and realizing, for this individual, they've never done any of the things that we're teaching them how to do. But the excitement and the anticipation each day of learning how to do that has just caused me to be even more excited about teaching it, because they really want to be there and they really want to learn how to do this. So that is very, very promising when you're in that position of training somebody for your team. The other individual we hired was somebody who has an extensive background, that does have experience in our industry, which is a blessing. And it can also be a drawback. And I'll explain that here in just a second. But with this individual, because of the way we did our hiring this time, it has been a blessing. And she is bringing so much to the team that they're going to be able to capitalize on, that it is very exciting right now for us to be able to experience this. So this individual, not only has she been able to do these things and has knowledge of doing it, but going in through the training with us, one of the things I explained to her, as I would anybody that has any experience that we bring on, is that I understand that you've done this job before. And a lot of the things that I'm going to tell you, you already know, but I need you to allow me to teach you how we do those things with our company, with our policies, and what our expectations are. What I have found is that you have a lot of leaders that never tell or even talk to their people about what expectations are and what they want them to do or how they want them to excel. And you start finding out a lot of different things. Even though this individual has been doing the same type of services that we've done or that we do, she has had a couple of aha moments that she didn't know, even with as much experience as she has. So that is rewarding in and of itself. But when you're doing the training with individuals like this, you're starting to see that the investment that you're making in them, how is that going to play down the line? And then the interaction you have between them and the other team members. And it's been great. It's been great to allow them to mingle with the other team members, and to be able to start building those relationships. And it's been really exciting, to say the least, to see that we've got some really good people, and it's been important for me as a leader to experience this, because I'm sure that many of you have heard the same thing, that there's just not enough people out there we're having to settle for people that we would have never hired before. And I think in some instances that may be true. And I think that there's others, like with my industry that I am in right now. I can't really say that because I've got two examples of that. One individual that has several years of experience and knows how to do this. And then I have a person that has no background whatsoever in this, but yet is so eager to come in and to learn that it's fun to train them because you see the excitement in everything that you do. And then when they actually start doing it and you see that excitement and the intrigue, and it's kind of like watching, if you've had children, watching your kids have different experiences as they grow up and learning new things that are exciting for them become exciting for you, and you're reliving it through your child's eyes. It's kind of the same thing with this when you're training new team members, is that you're seeing it through new eyes, and you're seeing that excitement that reminds you of the excitement that you may have had when you first started as well. And so it gives you hope. It gives you a really good feeling that everything's going to be good and everything's going to work out well. Visionary leaders, the path to your greatness begins here. Introducing the Alliance Mastermind Group, a sanctuary designed to amplify your leadership potential and turn your dreams into achievements. Inspired by the mastermind philosophy of Napoleon Hill, imagine a dynamic circle of tenacious minds, all committed to helping you reach your goals. In the Alliance Mastermind Group, leadership isn't just a title. It's an active journey towards the realization of your vision. You know, throughout history, mastermind groups have propelled leaders to new heights. Now, we're extending an invitation for you to experience this transformational power. At the Alliance Mastermind Group, leadership isn't just a concept. It's a dedication to each member's success. Our unique approach includes expert training sessions tailored to amplify your leadership skills. Now, this isn't just a group. It's like having your own executive board invested in your progress and your success. Imagine having a team where every member is genuinely interested in seeing your achievements and your goals reached. Or are you ready to take the first step? Apply now using the link in the description of this video and secure your place among the 10 leaders destined to be extraordinary in their success. The Alliance Mastermind Group, where leadership dreams take flight. Your vision, our commitment. Apply now. So I think that one of the things that I would guide you on when it comes to this is, one, slow your process down. Okay. Allow the time to happen that you're going to be able to find the right person for the right position. It's going to bring the right things to the table. Okay. That, I think, is one of the most important things that I can tell you, is not to be overly anxious, and don't let that feeling of, if I don't hire them right now, I'm going to lose this opportunity of hiring this person. There's always going to be somebody there, somebody who's going to be able to fit what you're needing and what your team needs. So don't let that negative self-talk or that negative voice get into your head and you start listening to it. Okay, slow things down. The other thing is to do your own due diligence when you have people that come to you. I think one of the biggest alarms to me is when you have somebody that says, you know what, I know you're going to do a background, but don't contact my employer. Okay. A lot of times I'm really not going to contact that person's employer right at first, because I don't want to cause issues unless I really know that this person is somebody that we're seriously going to extend that job offer to, or they're going to be somebody we want to be on our team. Then I'm going to tell them, look, you need to understand something. I am going to talk to your employer, because it looks right now that you're going to have a new employer. So do you really want to have that that conversation with them later, or would you rather have it now? And of course, you're going to have to let them make that decision, and you're going to have to take into consideration on how you do it with this individual. I can tell you right now that we had an individual I had that conversation with, and I talked to that person, and they're like, okay, and called their employer, and their employer had no clue that this individual was not happy and that they were looking to leave, and it scared them. And so they ended up contacting that person when he came back to work. And not only did they have a good, constructive session of speaking to each other and having an open dialogue to see where this individual is at, but he ended up getting a raise out of it. And then coming back and thanking me because he said, I probably wouldn't have given them the opportunity to offer me what they offered because I didn't know they cared. So you may be doing them a favor. Okay. Yeah, that guy would have been great if he would have come here, but I'm happy that he's happy and it's a better situation for him now and he's making more money. But he had to open that dialogue with his current employer and realize that, I think everybody gets afraid of what they're going to say or what they're going to do. If I find out, are they going to fire me? Well, they fire you, you're going to have a job with me. That's why we're contacting them. So I think it's one of those things. If they have that anxiety, you need to sit down and talk to them and let them know the reason why you're going to contact their employer or what your plan is. If you can contact them at the end and be happy with that, then so be it. But I think you need to talk about that process with them a little bit better and why it is that you do that. And then the other thing is, too, that's really important to us that we have found is understanding what their family dynamics is. Regardless of whether you want to or not, every individual that comes onto your team, you inherit everything that team member is coming to you, what they're bringing to you, their family issues, family dynamics, anything that goes on in that person's life is now going to involve you. Because guess what? When the kid is sick and isn't going to school, and the spouse is the one that's been staying home, now it's their turn, you're going to get that call at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, or just prior to their shift saying, I'm not going to be able to come in. I got a sick kid. You know, I've had leaders come up and basically threaten people with no longer having a job if they don't show up to work. All right. That is not a good practice for you as a leader to do that. Yeah, believe me, I'm right there with you. It throws a kink in everything. It throws your whole game plan for the day off when stuff like that happens. However, it's not something that happens every day, is what I have to tell myself. And I'm invested in this person. And if I'm invested in this person, I have to be invested in with what they have and what's going on in their life at that point. And I need to know these things so that I can help them because I want them here. And if I don't know those things, I don't know how I can help. I'm not looking to fix. I'm not looking to go in there and be the answer to everything and every problem they have. But I need the opportunity to know how I can make coming to work a point of being able to get away from that for a little bit and not feel threatened and also know that everything's going to be okay while they're here because I need them here. And so it's easier to work with people. I have some people that have personal things specific to them that I have agreements with that it's just them and I that know about the agreements. Nobody else needs to know. Okay. So you may have times where you're going to have to make those decisions too. And you could have other team members that are either going to come to you or they could even start the rumor mill of how, oh yeah, he's favoring that person or that's his favorite or whatever the case may be. With that individual making statements like that, there's a couple reasons. One, they haven't had enough time speaking with you and being able to understand what it is and how you do things. And number two, that's somebody that has some self confidence issues or they're having problems in what they're doing and aren't getting the attention from you to help them become better at what they do for you and the team. So that's the way you have to look at that. All right. And then you know what? There's some people, they don't matter what you say or what you're going to do, the world is always coming down on them. The problem is always, nothing goes my way. Everything sucks. People suck. All this other stuff. And we'll talk on another episode how to deal with people like that. But you go from one extreme to the other. All right. Well, one thing I can tell you that makes a world of difference in that is one, you don't tell your team what's going on with an individual team member. Okay. That is not my place or my responsibility to do. If that individual feels the urge or the ability or they need to know, then they can tell the team. Okay. But it isn't coming from me. Do not break that confidentiality. Don't confide in one of their fellow team members. It will come back to bite you, I promise, because that 100% responsibility for our actions that we've talked about before in a couple of episodes of the language of leadership here is very, very real. Okay. When it comes down to it, people either get scared or they think they're going to get in trouble or they're going to get fired or whatever. They will do everything they can to put the blame on somebody else for their actions, what they do, and how they do it, and why they do it. All right. Let them say whatever they're going to say. Put your tongue at the roof of your mouth and keep it there while they talk. And then when they're done, now it's my turn. Okay. And you start to talk to them and you explain it to them the best you can. Right. The bottom line is when they're talking, just let them talk. If you try to talk against them or with them, you're not listening. You're hearing to respond to questions that they're saying to you without hearing what it is that's going on with that individual. You need to listen. And you can't listen if you're thinking up here about what you're going to say. And then you have to say it while they're talking because you're afraid if you don't say it right now, you're not going to remember. Okay. It may be true, but it's not how a leader acts. All right. Listen to them. That sincerity of listening is going to go a long way. I guarantee it. All right. And believe me, it is hard. It is very hard, especially like right now. I've got two new employees. They don't know that leadership style. They've not experienced that, a lot of them. And they will tell you that. You know, I've already had one of these individuals just after being with us for 2 weeks say how much he feels that he's been accepted in on with this team and that he's never had a boss that he felt listens, cares. Wow, that's just a couple weeks. This is somebody that's just getting to know me and my leadership style and how I do things. But if you go from one extreme where you have somebody that's the typical boss that you think about that's barking out orders and yelling and screaming and getting mad at people, cussing at them and things like that, and this individual you just brought in is used to that kind of a leadership style, then they come over here to you, and it's something totally different. They get listened to, they get acknowledged, and then you try and help them become better than what they are. They really don't know how to act at first because they've never had that. And that's exciting too, because now you're going to see this person feel comfortable within themselves, be able to excel at what they do because they know that you're going to accept it and you're going to help them be better. So it's exciting. So I hope this has given you a little bit of food for thought and to look at your hiring processes a little bit better and understand they can always become better. And there are hundreds and hundreds of books out there right now that talk about leadership and how to pick up and address and find your team. All right. The skills and the things that I've shared with you here on the language of leadership, these are what I have found that work best for me and what I've read and what I've experienced. And I can tell you it's been great. You know, sometimes me as a leader, I sometimes will have some relapses and some things, and we'll talk about those relapses and things that can happen and how to get back on track. But I think the most important thing for us all as leaders is to realize, yep, I'm going to have a bad day, but I'm not going to keep reliving that bad day. I need to understand that I'm entitled to have an off day too, but it's what I do with it afterwards. Am I blaming other people? Am I blaming my team? Or am I taking on the responsibility saying, you know what? Yep, it was all me, but it was time for me to realize it and have some self therapy myself. So I hope that you take that into consideration too. But until next week, when we have come to you with another episode of The Language of Leadership, remember your team is looking to you for that leadership, that guidance, and that direction. It is such a privilege to be able to do that and to have people that look to you in that way. Don't betray their trust. Know that you're there to help them and to make them better. And as you do, you're going to have a solid team and you're going to enjoy your time as a leader. So until then, until next week, take care.